Good morning, everyone. It is early, as we always do. Excuse me. We're streaming. I hope everyone is keeping well. We've got Adam, Alex, and Dis in the chat. Love to see that. I've got some big decisions to make in my team, and I tell you what, Adam, if you stick around for the next 30 seconds, I'll maybe help you out. Let me just get my team up on screen a sec, and then we'll cast it over. 2 seconds. There we are. So that's what my team looks like going into this week. Now, I've got Foden, and this I don't think would be different if I had Bruno Guimaraes, really. Although I do think that Foden is more likely to play than Bruno Guimaraes. I've got Foden, right? And I'm thinking of moving him on to two options. One of them is Enzo Fernandez, who's obviously on the thumbnail, and I've put him in the title. And the other one is Iliman Ndiaye. I really like Iliman Ndiaye. Garner, he's okay, but I think his appeal's probably lessened now and Ndiaye is back in the team. But there's no difference really between Garner and Elliot Anderson, really. In fact, Garner is probably better than Elliot Anderson in reality. So that's kind of where I'm at. But yeah, I hope everyone's keeping well. I'm definitely on the coffees this morning. Ben, good to see you, mate. Good morning. Nice to be here at the end of my night shift. That's what we're here for, mate. I hope you had a good shift. I'm worried about not owning Thiago this game week for us. Yeah, me too. I'm just wondering. Manage, mate. Bro, I'm just going to share something. So, myself and my mate FPL Tom, right? We've started the FPL Cartel, which we've spoken about multiple times. I'm sure we're all aware of it. And our friend Manoj here in the chat has joined the FPL Cartel and used our free trial 3 times on different emails. He did it a 3rd time yesterday. And so for that, mate, I'm sorry. You're done. Would you start Watkins or Elliot Anderson? I'd start Watkins, mate. Based on what Moy said at the pressure, I'm not sure Ndiaye starts. Let's have a look-see. I'll be honest, ladies and gents, this is probably a poor show as an FPL YouTuber, but I also cover Bristol City on another channel. You can see the scarf behind me. So much has gone on with that club this week. And it's meant that I was focused on that yesterday. So we're going to have a look at Ndiaye. So they returned to Finch Farm Friday afternoon by the looks of it. Let's have a look and see what David Moyes said. Yeah, I think for me, if I'm moving Foden on to Ndiaye, which I could still do next week. Oh, sneezing. I could still do it next week, but I feel like I'm trading one player who's a bit of a minutes risk for another player who is also a bit of a minutes risk. Sorry, I need to clear my throat. That should be better. I don't know if Foden is starting this week. I think he's almost like 50-50, to be honest with you. The thing is, if he doesn't, I've got like, I think I've got reasonable bench cover. Reasonable bench cover. The only sort of decision I have is which of my three defenders I play. So I think Gahey and Gabriel are nailed on, but Chow, Rodon, or Anderson, which of those three do I play? By the way, Jake, it's good to see you in the chat, mate. We had Manoj in the chat earlier on. He has been removed. I thought you might enjoy that. Won't be a sec. That's how I feel selling Gordon. Yeah, I just feel like you're getting rid of 1 minute's risk for another, and the player to bring in, I think, is Enzo Fernandez in reality. But it's just whether this is the week to do it, you know? For me, mate, I think Bruno Guimaraes is probably a sell, to be honest with you. I think he's probably a sell. What is the... yeah. Looking at those fixtures, I'd probably sell him. Thoughts on starting Chow over Foden? I'm not a fan. I think for me, I'm going to start... If I keep Foden, I think I'm going to start him. I mean, benching him, to me, if you're benching Foden this week, you should probably sell him. Start Verbruggen or Dubravka. Yeah, someone else had that issue. In fact, I've got something better to talk you through. 2 seconds. Foden, Verbruggen versus Dubravka. Have a look at that. So what? Dubravka's got 23 clean sheet. Verbruggen's got 24. It's probably just Verbruggen, but then I actually reckon, in terms of the way the game would have to go for one of these teams to keep a clean sheet, Burnley are probably more likely, to be honest with you. Because it's Tottenham, isn't it? I sold Bruno G, yeah. If you can get Bruno Fernandes in for Bruno G, I think it makes sense. Bruno Fernandes is no longer a differential for me, though, unfortunately. I'm not sure either will start, to be honest with you. I think O'Reilly probably plays. Arab, I like it. I still think you could sell Foden to Bruno Fernandes this week, to be honest with you. I really do. Timber or Tarkovsky's worth? No, definitely not. Best mids that's 7 million and under. For me, there's a two. It's Enzo Fernandez and Iliman and Jai. Those are the ones that I would be looking at. Morning, Ben, mate. Bro, yesterday was mental in Bristol City World, let me tell you. I've got to... I'll send you a WhatsApp. Yes, I will do that, Ben. I'm just going to send you this WhatsApp and then... yes, let's get the Discord open. So, team reviews and stuff, we're going to do, as we say, we're going to do it in the FPL Cartel from now on. Members of the Cartel, there's a link to join the Cartel in the description below. And I'll put it in the chat as well. If you want to get your team reviewed, join the Cartel, and let's just get the link so I can put it in the chat. Join. 4 team reviews. So there's the Cartel link. I'm just going to flash it up on my screen as well. We'll have a look at Ben's team and help him out. There we are. So this is Ben's team. Verbruggen, yeah, we had a Verbruggen versus Dubravka discussion with someone else. I slightly, IDOC, I would definitely probably bring in Enzo Fernandez. Given what's been said about Njai, only just coming back, etc., I'd probably go for Enzo. What would I do here? What would I do here? How many transfers have you got, Ben? Did you say? Well, Rahul's here as well. 1 free transfer. There are 2 players in this team that I would personally not want to have for the long run. But then you're left asking the question, would I actually want to sell them this week? One of them is obviously Konate, and the other one is Gordon for me. Who would I bring in to replace Konate? Who would I buy? And the answer is probably another Arsenal defender. And somewhere down the line you sell Bukayo Saka, because I think the best Arsenal triple up is Gabriel, Timber, and then Declan Rice, right? I think that's the best triple up. And you could roll as well. You could genuinely get away with rolling this team. I mean, Anderson comes in for Konate, and it's easy. You just roll. So, yeah, I'm a little bit, have an antihistamine. It's a little bit, What's your feelings, say? Let's do Konate to a cheap defender. You could get Mukiele, but then you'd have double Sunderland defence is the only thing. I think I would go, Mukiele is a good shout, I think. And then you don't have Bruno Fernandes, yeah. That does make sense, but then you're taking a hit. I would definitely start Mukiele over Chow if I had the choice. Definitely. Yeah, I like that, Ben. I think that sounds very sensible. The only thing is you're playing a game with that move where if anything happens this week, you're in trouble because you're going to have to take a hit. I just think maybe you could get away with rolling this week. Just start Anderson. Heaven, you just don't have a bench, do you, if you do that? It's just the case of, do you want to make the transfer this week? Take the risk that you might need to use another transfer to fix your team next week. But then I guess you've got Gordon, haven't you? But you really want to get Bruno Fernandes in next week is the only thing. My preference would be Foden, Levi. Hopefully that helps you, Ben. That's probably where my head's at with it. Rahul. I think I'd definitely start Bruno Fernandes here, mate. I think Bruno Guimaraes would be benched. No, I see your logic, to be fair, if he doesn't play. Yeah, so you're in a real pickle there, aren't you, really? You can definitely get a defender for that price, though. You know what? Looking at this team, mate, I would probably do Thiaw out for Bruno Fernandes. And then O'Reilly. I think there's a good chance that O'Reilly starts against Wolves. Yeah, I think roll Ben. You can get away with your team this week. Especially if you're really unsure. I think I would roll in your position. The problem with your team, Rahul, is you've got such a strong bench that you're gonna have a headache every week with who you pick. And I can't advise people have a bench like this. The second thing I would say is if you're not going to captain Haaland, I think you give it to Gabriel, would be my view. But I'd probably start Bruno Fernandes over Thiaw. And I think, your bench is just too strong, mate. I know you're a West Ham mate, but one of the biggest pieces of advice I can give you is you can never put your own team's loyalty into the way that you play FPL. You'll just shoot yourself in the foot, mate. No offense, especially as your team is one of the teams to target in FPL at the moment. Like, no one can convince me that West Ham they're not a team to target. They still almost definitely are. Good to see you, Nixie, mate. I'll pin the cartel in the chat as well, so people know. There we go. Did you by the way, Ben, I don't know if you're still here. Did you hear anything back from Tom on the TikTok stuff? You don't have to say in detail. Also, if you haven't already, we've got nearly 200 people watching the stream and 27 likes. If you haven't already, please do leave a like rating on the stream. I'd really appreciate that. 28 now, but yeah, still, leave a like rating on the stream. Really helps me out. Vert's captain, that is bold. Would you do Gu out for Calvert-Lewin or Thiago this week? It's really hard to answer that because it depends on what your bench looks like at the moment. I think Foden to Bruno is a good move this week. I don't mind that, because Bruno Fernandes, he is the best midfielder in the league, in the game, probably the league, but in the game, and buying him makes sense. So I can never tell someone that they shouldn't do that. Bruno Fernandes is probably the only player that I'm almost sure that that's the right move, because even if you're worried about Foden's minutes, you're buying in the best midfielder in the game who is not a worry for minutes. I just answered your question as well, Xavier. A lot of overreaction, yeah. It's tough though, isn't it? I'm still undecided as to what I do with Foden. Good to see you, Freddie. Hope you're keeping well, mate. Hey, mate, Rice, Timber, Saliba, Bruno F, or João Pedro. Who to transfer in? If you don't have Declan Rice, I'd probably go for him. I think Bruno G is probably a sell. Because you look at I think he's more doubtful than Foden. And I don't think the fixtures are great either. Not sure about Bruno Fernandes, a good option against the best defence in the league. Well, fair enough then. Then you don't pick him. Jason Tatum. I have a benching headache. I'm thinking of starting Munoz and Gabriel, but for the third defender, either Anderson or Lacroix, or I could just start both over Cunha. Oh, gone. Sold Bruno G. I tell you what, I've got 3 Man City, so I can't do it, but I don't hate Semenyo as an option in the game for next few weeks. Like, with no Champions League, he's probably going to play against Wolves in Tottenham. Almost definitely going to play. So, Semenyo could be really good. Fair play. I rate it. You could do a lot worse than Semenyo. Two free transfers, Tavernier to Lefay, or bring in Anderson off the bench and roll. I don't really hate the thought of bringing Anderson off the bench, really. But at the same time, you can't keep Tavernier in your team. I think I prefer Garner to Lefay, though, if you were to ask me. Triple captain Haaland. I don't like the potential predicted future doubles. What do you mean you don't like the doubles? And also, I just think Gabriel triple captain in 26 is a good time to do it. And you can use it in other weeks as well. I would hold on. It's possible, isn't it, Jamie? But I think if you know, playing FPL is all about making like sound predictions, right? And I think a good prediction is that Sunderland give West Ham a game, at least this week. Yeah, we'll find out, Handponic. You can do this on Fantasy Football Hub or Live FPL, but you can check out Haaland's ownership, or his effective ownership in the game. If it's over 200%, then that means every point that he scores will be a red arrow. I don't think that's the case. I also think there will be some people that hedge against him as well. That's another topic of conversation, of course. You know, we spoke about what I could do with Phil Foden. I think there's also a question of like, what do you do in terms of your captain this week? Because if you don't think Foden's going to play, I think there's also a thought, certainly that's occurred in my mind, that, you know, does Haaland play? I think if he doesn't play, Gabriel is the best captain. But I'm not at a point where I can captain Gabriel. I'm just going to give him the vice, but that's what I'm thinking. No, I don't think I would do that. Essex Carpet Cleaning Co. No, I don't think I'd do that. I wouldn't take a hit to get rid of Foden. And also Vandenberg is he injured? I still wouldn't take the hit for that though. Yes, King Ferren, if you look on my channel, I made a wildcard video last weekend. And I reckon that's still pretty solid, the team that I put together there. Player for player, you might not completely agree with it, but I'm pretty content with that team that I put together. I'm pretty content with it. Cherky or Foden? I've already answered that, Levi. I think I'd say Foden, to be honest with you. Yeah, we're gonna. That's exactly what I was just gonna bring up, mate. That's exactly what I was gonna bring up. What was I gonna bring up? Predicted lineups. There we are. Doing some digging into the Man City predictions. Those predicting Foden have bench Rodri, Bernardo, and Cherky starting the midfield pretty much. The midfield three, even if you swap Rodri for Rodriguez, has never started together. Okay. Okay. Right, some predicted lineups then. We'll go through them all. So this is Arsenal. By the way, this account, I'm going to put the link to the tweet in the description so you can check it out for yourself. So the way this works is Emma, she asks, I think 20 fans of each Premier League club. What's going on? There we go. To predict who's going to start for their team. Hang on, can we go full screen? There we go. And this is what they said. So Arsenal, the 11 is pretty nailed on. So it's going to be Raya, Timber, White, Gabriel, Saliba, Zubamendi, Rice, Odegaard, Saka, Trossard, Gyökeres, and then a slim chance that one of Martinelli or Jesus plays. So that's Arsenal. Villa, 85 for Martinez, Cash, Konsa, Pau Torres, and then Bogard. Martson, Tielemans, Onana. Sanchez is 54. Rodgers, Buendia, and Watkins. They've obviously just signed Tammy Abraham as well. Brighton, Verbruggen, Veltman, Van Heck, Dunk, Kalioglu, Baleba, Gomez, Gross, Mitoma, Jorginho, Gruder, Welbeck. Chelsea, Sanchez, James, Chalobah, Fofana, Cucurella, Caicedo, Enzo, Neto, Palmer, João Pedro. Liverpool, we got Alisson, Frimpong, Gomez, Van Dijk, Kirkes, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, Salah versus Ekitike. Man City, Donnarumma, Kuzanov, Gahey. 8 Nori and O'Reilly 75%. And then we get down to the important stuff. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 predictors for the Man City team this week. Foden is 50% to start. 50. But it is Wolves. So what do you do? It's 50%. That's as bad as it gets, really. And also, I think it is as bad as it gets, really, in terms of uncertainty. You know, if he was completely nailed off, if he was completely off, we'd probably have an idea. And the unfortunate thing is the Champions League midweek as well. I think he played a perfect amount of minutes to be a doubt. Like, yeah, you can see other Man City players there, but 70 minutes in the Champions League is like the perfect amount where you'd still question if he'll play this weekend. I think I'm probably going to keep him, to be honest with you. Is to buy Bruno Fernandes and sell Foden. I think I would do that. I've told a few people I would do that. I've already got Bruno, though. Man United, Lamans, Dalot, Maguire, Martinez, Shaw, Dorgu is 84% to play. Casemiro, Mainu, Bruno Fernandes, Ahmad, Mbumo. Newcastle, Pope, Trippier, Chow, Botman, Hall, Tonali, Miley. Yeah, Joe Linton's... Oh, sorry. Bruno G is only 25% to start. Joe Linton, Barnes, Gordon, Wisser. Tottenham, Vicario, Porro, Romero, Van der Ven, Udogi. No one's got them, have they? Gray, Gallagher, Tell, Odegaard, Javi, Solanke. Tell you what, Solanke, he hopefully could make this game interesting again if he is back fit, ready to go. What's his price in the game? Is he 7.5? I like Solanke. 10.2. He's obviously only got 2 points. I quite like Solanke. As an option. So here's how you decide, in my opinion, if you start Dorgu or Gahey, right? The first part of that decision is who is more likely to keep a clean sheet. I think it's probably Gahey. And then you're into who is more likely to get an attacking return, which is probably Dorgu. He's probably going to play as a left winger. But then with Dorgu, you ask yourself, how many points is he going to get from attack? I need to change my ticker, don't I? How many points does Dorgu get from attacking returns? And is it enough to is it enough to offset it? Oh shit, come on. What's going on here? There we go. There we are. Do I start Dorgu over Cunha? Well, it doesn't look like Cunha's going to start for Man United this week. So, yeah. Haaland will play. No one knows the true answer to that. I think Haaland is likely to start, though. Tyke, what is this decision? I've got Sanchez in goal, so I think that would answer your question for you. Chalobah or Chow? If I was picking one now, I'd go Chalobah. Timber or Chow, I'd go Timber. Timber or Chalobah, I'd also say Timber. Should I start Chalobah or Mukiele? Well, that's interesting. You know what? Let's see what the odds say. 29, 28. They're both away. My gut feel is probably Chalobah, but if in order to start Chalobah, you're doubling up on the Chelsea defence, I think I'd go Mukiele. Dorgu or Van Heck? I think Dorgu's more fun. Haaland is the best captain, mate. No doubt about it. I think it's Haaland or Gabriel if you don't believe Haaland's going to play. I wouldn't go for Semenyo. Should I sell Tavernier to Enzo and bench Anderson, or just start Anderson, save a transfer? Mate, if you spam the chat in all caps, you're going to get yourself banned. The thing is, you could bench Anderson and save the transfer, but I think for the long run, you're going to want to sell Tavernier, right? So I would sell him. I'd sell him. It's not saving a transfer, because at some point down the line, you're going to have to use it. Frankie. Chow or Alderete? I'd probably say Alderete. The fixture is much better, even though it is away from home. Going away to West Ham is, with the stadium and stuff, it's not. The advantage is not huge, I don't think, for them at home at the moment. I'd almost argue West Ham are probably a team I think are more likely to win away from home, but there you go. Quick one for you. Start 2 out of Rodgers, Anderson. I think I'd play Rodgers. And then flip a coin on the 2 Andersons, mate. I'd probably say Elliot. Hey, mate, I have a benching headache. I'm thinking of starting Munoz and Gab, but for the third defender, either Anderson or Lacroix, or I could start both over Cunha. Well, I don't think Cunha's going to play. I don't think Cunha's going to play this week. He'll come off the bench, but I don't think he's starting. I think Carrick, there's no reason to leave Dorgu out. And also, I think he'll do better defensively as well, which they'll need because Saka's on the right for Arsenal. By the way, if you haven't already, please do leave a like rating on the stream. We've got nearly 250 people in there at the moment and only 55 likes. So if you haven't already, I would really appreciate it if you could, like the stream. I brought in Bruno Fernandes, Palmer and Krupi Jr. for Bowen, Foden and Cunha. Not bad, mate. Not bad. I have both Foden and Cherky with 2 free transfers. I think you sell both. Honestly, just sack them both off. One of them, I think, is not going to play. I doubt if they both start. And I reckon Foden becomes Bruno Fernandes. Cherky long term is just... Let's have a look. Let's have a look at expected points to help you. Yeah, it does look like João Pedro is going to play, mate. The predictions have him more likely than Palmer to, anyway. If we look at midfielders, somewhere around the vicinity of Cherky in terms of price. Zoom in. There we are. So those are your best replacements for Cherky. I really like Njai, but I would have small doubts about him starting this week. From next week onwards, he's great. But this week, a little bit of a doubt. So I think I'm going to buy Njai next week. Surely Ekitike has to return today. Well, I'm not selling him. I'm not selling him yet. I think he's just, you got to think he's going to play a majority of the minutes as the Liverpool number 9, right? And with that in mind, just going to play him every week. Yeah, I don't mind Cunha to enjoy. The only worry I would have is David Moyes. He didn't say anything negative about Njai playing, but a lot of talk from his press conference was about how recently Njai has come back, right? He definitely made sure to say that he only got back to Everton yesterday. That's all I'll say on it. But the thing is with Everton, they're so desperate for players, with Grealish breaking his foot and whatnot. I think it probably means he does play. By the way, if you haven't already, like I said, leave a like rating on the stream and subscribe as well to the Golden Goal channel. I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe. We're trying to hit 25,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And really, really appreciate it if you can help me get there. Yeah, Jason, I would agree with that, if that's what your question is. But I would definitely do Cunha to Bruno Fernandes. I did that last week. It was a good move. Who is better for this game week, Enzo or João Pedro? I'd say Enzo, to be honest with you. I'd say Enzo. He probably will be on the pitch for more minutes as well. I could see an early sub for João Pedro. Not for Enzo. Not for Enzo. Sorry, I just won't be a second. Cunha or Chris Richards? Well, I don't think Cunha's going to play, but then I think Chris Richards is going to have a tough week. I'd neither. I think you need to make a transfer there on Cunha, to be honest with you. That's the answer. Chris Richards, if you were putting me up, well, you probably play Cunha, don't you? Yes, Freddie. Just going to pull up your team, my friend. Hang on, I need to log in. Ooh, bear with, guys. Sorry. Log in. Your ID is 3327. Also, I've misquoted my live rank as well. I'm not 192k overall. Sorry, my windows are doing my head in. I'm actually 187k overall. Yeah, Bruno G's got an ankle injury, mate. Whether it's serious enough to keep him out this week or not is still a little bit uncertain. But he got subbed off early in the Champions League, and I think he probably misses this week. 3327. Captain Haaland, mate. The alternative for Haaland, I think, is Gabriel. This is Freddie's team. Freddie. 3.1 million in the bank. I think this is... Yeah, I think Haaland and Palmer play, mate. I do. So this is where I'm at with your team, looking at this. You need to get Bruno Fernandes in at some point. You do. Exactly how you do that yet, though, I'm not totally sure. But I would... How many transfers have you got, mate? How many transfers have you got? 2. Okay. So I've got to say, I don't know how you guys feel. 1. Oh God. Okay. So I don't think first of all, I don't think your team is really that bad, because this 11 that we're looking at on screen is absolutely acceptable to go into this week playing this team. No doubt about it. The one player that I think you're really missing is Bruno Fernandes. Okay. But is there a sensible player to sell to get Bruno Fernandes in? Because I think in reality, you either kind of, I wouldn't say limp, but you have this team for this game week, or you buy Bruno Fernandes. Or you could do Tavernier to Enzo and Foden to Bruno Fernandes next week. And then your team, I think I would do that. I think that's what I'd do, mate. And then next week, you can do Foden to Bruno. But then you've got the Szoboszlai issue as well. So, we'll go back. You had Tavernier here, didn't you? So we'll put him back in quickly. Can we check the AI transfer? Of course we can. Of course we can. To be fair, the AI transfer suggestion is usually pretty... Yeah. It's recommending no transfer. It's recommending you go in with... Yeah, the 4-4-2 that we looked at earlier on. I don't mind it. In fact, I'm going to have a quick look if you don't mind. Freddie, I hope that helps you, mate. I think you could get away with rolling. And to be honest, it's probably your most sensible thing to do, I reckon. Just attack it with more swaps next week. I want to do my team. Oh, come on. My pleasure, mate. My pleasure. Sorry, we just do members' team reviews. If you want to, you can do a super chat, become a channel member, or join the FPL Cartel. We're running a 1 week free trial. The Cartel is, we'll do a quick ad. It's an exclusive Discord. Both myself and FPL Tom, who is probably live as we speak at the moment on his own channel, we're both in there to give you all the help you need with your FPL team. Good community in there as well. And we're also doing an exclusive weekly podcast together. And you can post your team in the Cartel Discord and we can review it on the stream. Let's just see if we've got any other teams in there a second. We do. Sean, brother, you should have said. Please give me a nudge if you've put your team in the Discord as well. Sean. 2 free transfers, mate. 2 million in the bank. I think I'd do Foden to Bruno Fernandes and leave it. Please rate my team. Not making any transfers. This week, maybe enjoy any feedback. Your transfer with that teammate is probably Bruno Fernandes. Oh, we've not got screen share on. Whoops. It's probably Bruno Fernandes if you're making one, but I wouldn't do it otherwise. You could probably roll. And then this team, Sean Burrow. I do Foden to Bruno if it were me. Start Saliba or Chow. Let's put that back on. I'd start Saliba. Cunha and Voltemade must sells. It's hard to keep Cunha in it. I'd get rid of both of them, yeah, if you can. I think I would. Is Munoz an option? Had they kept hold of Gahey, I probably would have said yes, but there's so much mess around Crystal Palace at the moment. I'm not sure I can recommend him at the moment. Gee-whiz, I don't know what you did. I missed his messages, but thank you. Bench 2, Van Dijk, Van de Ven, and Van Heck. Bench 2, Van Dijk, Van de Ven, and Van Heck. Check out that. That'll help you. I know, John. That's what we do, mate. This is what we do. Rodgers, Foden out to Bruno and Enzo. Yeah. Start 1, Anderson or Lacroix. Well, have a look at the clean sheet odds. They'll both probably get DEFCON. I'd probably start Anderson, you know. I don't know about Minte, mate. We'll go back to the team predictions. Bear with, pal. Ooh. There's Brighton. Minte, no, by the looks of it. The Brighton fans, he's 38% to start. 38% to start. Manda, I hope you're keeping well. I'm going to do something for you. We need some more moderators in the chat. I hope life is good for you, Amanda. They can just ban people from the chat, basically, and just help moderate the chat, if you like. That's kind of clues in the name, I guess. Captain's poll. I'm not sure I'd captain Saka. If we do a captain's poll, ladies and gents, who are the options? We'll put one together. Let me know who the options are, and I'll do one. Was FPL better without AI? The thing is, with AI, I do wonder if one day it obviously will get clever enough where it can do minutes predictions and stuff. But the beauty of FPL is still there's such a level of uncertainty in football that nothing will be predictable. I think we're probably 4 or 5 years away from the game maybe being ruined by AI. We'll see. Yeah, you're probably right. But then I'm wondering, the reason I've done that is I don't think Everton have been very good. But then I was looking at bringing in Njai, wasn't I? You're right. Is that the right bench order? I was of the mind at first that Rodon may be better. I got Salah. Do we think Salah plays? Gameweek 24 free captain. Okay, first one is Haaland. Gabriel. Other. The only thing that was going through my head when you mentioned, do I have a bet on football? No, I don't. I'm not a gambler. I don't personally like gambling. But one thing that I have been thinking about, and I realise there is an interesting relationship between FPL and gambling, and I'm sure it probably won't go down with a few in the community. But let's be honest, right? Bookmakers, gambling companies, they probably are the best source of projections, right, in terms of match outcomes, players that are going to score, because it's their business to try and beat the punters and get their predictions right. Okay, that's the nature of it. You know, some of them are like multi-billion-pound companies. They've got the money to invest in brain power, AI, all of that can predict outcomes, right? I was thinking, how do I integrate that more in my content without being too overblown promoting gambling? Would you be open? This is just a question. Purely because it will help with FPL rather than me just pushing bets in your face, if that makes sense. Would that be something you'd be interested in seeing? Purely from a perspective of helping you get better at FPL, basically. Because what I was thinking is you could reach out to someone like Odds Checker, for example. Because Odds Checker, it brings together all the bookies, doesn't it? Don't know, that's something I've been thinking about. Dewsbury Hall is back. Use them anyway, yeah, fair enough. I just, I'm conscious of how it might come across, but I think it's the right thing to do, right? Replacement for Foden. I would get Bruno Fernandes if I didn't have him already this week. Because I already have Bruno Fernandes, I think it makes selling Foden more difficult because I already have him. Like, Fernandes would be my best replacement. And I still wouldn't be 100% sure that that's the right move. I'd probably make it if I could. But now I've got Foden, who I think is literally 50-50 to start. Or I could buy Enzo. Or I could buy Njai. Or I could just stick with Foden. Understood, Daniel. Replacements for Cunha and Voltemada. Replacements for Cunha and Voltemada. I'd say Enzo Fernandez or Njai for Cunha. Voltemada is Thiago. And to be honest, if you can afford him, get Bruno Fernandes in for Cunha. Exactly what Gwiz says. Thiago is always a forward to bring in my mind. I don't totally hate Solanke, but I don't think his minutes are going to be as safe as Thiago. And let's be honest, I think Thiago has a much better record this season than Solanke does so far. You think Njai is less appealing with no Grealish? I would almost argue that he's more appealing, because he's right-footed, isn't he? And he was playing on the right before, and now you'd like to think he'd be playing on the left. I actually think Njai is better. I really do. I guess the thing is with Everton is that they don't have Dewsbury Hall either. Edgar Davids? We've literally got Edgar Davids in the chat. Mukiele, Timber, Anderson, Virgil, Wilson, Foden, Rogers, Thiago, Haaland, TK. Bench is Bruno G, Cunha. Brother, your bench is way too strong. Way too strong. Every single week you look at your team in FPL, you're going to have a benching headache with that. Every week. So you've got 3 players in there that I think are sells. One of them is Foden. One of them is Cunha. One of them is Bruno Guimaraes. All of those 3 players I think you could sell. You don't have Bruno Fernandes. And you don't have Enzo Fernandez. And you don't have Njai. So Foden, Bruno G, Cunha would be the 3 that I look at selling. And Bruno Fernandes, Njai, Enzo, in that order, would be the 3 that I'd look at buying. Hopefully that helps. You already have Thiago, then I'd buy Krupi Jr. Or Ekitike, but probably Krupi Jr. Roofs or Dubravka. Roofs for me. Would you start Garner or O'Reilly? How do you feel about O'Reilly's minutes? Richards' replacement to use my only transfer. You keep Richards, I think. Just keep him. I don't think you can do much better for the price. Yeah, we did a lot of talk on Dubravka versus Verbruggen. I think it... My gut says Dubravka. I'll be honest with you. Do I wait for wildcard? When are you wildcarding? And wildcard next week? Okay. Yeah, I know on Krupi Jr., but I think you're best off just playing 3 up front, 2 up front at that point, and just having Krupi Jr. on the bench. Do you make a transfer? The thing is, I could see a world where Foden doesn't play, Bruno G doesn't play, Cunha doesn't play, so you're in this position where you have 0 bench. Who's your third option on the bench? A Riley replacement, honestly, I think I'd just pick a Sunderland defender, really. I was looking at a Sunderland defender to come in for Gahey, so I think my honest answer to that is it's a Sunderland defender to come in for O'Reilly as well. By the way, if you haven't already, we've got nearly 300 people watching. I'm really grateful for that. Thank you everyone for tuning in. If you're enjoying the stream, please do leave a like rating and subscribe to the Golden Goal channel if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate that. Sorry, I'm just going to blow my nose again a second. There we are. How do you leave a like rating? Yeah, mate, it's the thumbs up. I appreciate that. The fee to enjoy free. Oh, don't hate it, mate. The only worry is I'd probably give Enjoy a 75% chance of starting this week. I think he'll be fine, but I just worry a little bit about how recently he's come back from AFCON. You're targeting Enzo over Morgan Rogers, not for me. Fair enough. We have a difference in opinion then. I would also put Enjoy ahead of Morgan Rogers, personally. Start Anderson or Gakpo. What? Yeah, we got to go back to that team, haven't we? What do we think? If you spam the chat in all caps, mate, I am less likely to answer your question. I think looking at this, mate, the Liverpool fans have got Gakpo 38% to play. So, with that in mind, I think you're probably starting Anderson, aren't you? You've got 5 Man City players, fair enough, mate. Would you do Cunha to Mbumo or Tavernier to Njai? I don't think I'd buy Mbumo this week. Oh, it's so tough. Do you not have enough cash for Bruno Fernandes? You must do if you can do Tavernier to Njai. If you... Oh... I'd be tempted to do Cunha to Mbumo, but I don't really like either of those moves. Tavernier to Njai I like, but then you'll have Cunha. Tavernier you can just leave on your bench if you're desperate this week. He's cheap enough that you can do that with. Yeah, I'm thinking similar, Bazball. I think in terms of bringing in Mbumo as well, this is a point for lazy Ush. I think we need another week of information on him. Like, he obviously played really well against Man City, scored his goal, but I'm not sure we have full confidence yet that he's the first choice 9. I think if he starts at the 9 and has a decent game against Arsenal, I think that's a real confidence builder. But they've got Sesko as well, haven't they? I give it another game. Raya? If I was wildcarding, mate, I wouldn't pick Raya. I would have Timber in my defence instead. also, I don't think I would have just one forward. I think I'd pick Thiago still. I'd probably pick Thiago over Rodgers. And I'm not sure I'd have Munoz. Edgar Davids, I feel like I already helped you, pal. I've definitely already helped you. You had those 3 players that I think you should sell, and I told you the order in which you should do it. I feel like I helped you, pal. I really appreciate you becoming a member, but I'm not sure what more I could say to help you. Are you looking for anything else out of me? I did spend like a good 3 or 4 minutes talking about your team. But yeah, like I said, really appreciate you becoming a member, but I feel like I helped you. Hopefully I helped you as well, Saul. But should I roll a wild card? Yeah, that's a good point. Well, you could wild card, couldn't you? I've made a team. I just don't see, if you're struggling this week, may as well just do it this week, I guess. If you're struggling, for this week, and you're planning it next week, what's the difference in bringing it forward? I just picked Bruno Fernandes. That's it, really. Bruno to Foden. Oh, are you talking... Any advice for someone starting an FPL channel? Yeah, mate. The advice is just start. I would say get a decent camera, decent microphone. You could probably use the webcam on your laptop, to be fair. My mic is a Razer Siren Mini. You need some lighting that shows up on your face. All the graphics, honestly, I do in PowerPoint, and I use DaVinci Resolve to do my editing. And you just start, mate. The thing is, that's the hardest barrier, is just putting your face out there on the internet and just starting. I had this as well. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and I didn't want to start unless I was really happy with what the graphics and everything looked like. But honestly, you just need to start and learn as you go. The beauty of YouTube is, and this is no offense, this is reality, the first few videos you make, no one watches anyway. You have to probably get through... It took me 300 videos to get to 1,000 subscribers, right? So you have to go through the grind period of getting better. And you can only do that through practice, right? You can only do that through practice. And you have to be willing to make probably multiple hundreds of videos before you become monetized. That's the game now. It took me probably 300 videos to become monetized. That's the grind that you have to go through. That's why when people talk to me about like money grabbing or whatever on this channel, I say, no, you can't throw that card at me. I spent well over a year making videos, 300 of them before I got paid through this, so you've got to put in that work. I can go on a tangent about starting your own business and YouTube channel and stuff, and I'm happy to, but only if you ask me. I don't want to just bore everyone with it. If Foden is out, transfer out for Bruno this week. We don't know if Foden is out, first of all. I'd probably do Foden to Bruno this week. I'll be honest with you, I would do it. If I was in the position where I could choose to do it, I would. But I've already got Bruno, so I'm keeping Foden. Mukiele, Virgil, Anderson, bench one. Probably Anderson. Yeah, probably Anderson. Because Virgil's alright for Defcon, isn't he? Charlotte Frost. I think there's 2 midfielders you bring in there. Actually, 3 players. I did have a separate YouTube channel, actually. I did it last year. I'll dig it out. The 3 players you need to look at bringing in Charlotte are Bruno Fernandes, Enzo Fernandez, and Enjoy. decide who you want to sell, basically. Decide who you want to sell. I'm just going to share you the channel that I made. Share channel, copy. There you are. There's my coaching channel. Absolutely, Tom. That's the thing. Like, action is better than thinking. I think that's something that I'm really trying to work on this year. I don't know about a lot of you guys, and I'm not saying this to blow my own trumpet. I think a lot of people that play FPL are quite intelligent people, right? I think about and overanalyze everything way too much. I do. I'm in my own head about so many things. And I think my problem isn't I need to think about things more. It's I need to think about things less and take more action. And I think a lot of people could probably benefit from that themselves, to be honest. The same goes with FPL. You know, how many times do we like overanalyze the transfers and stuff that we want to make? I think one of the things in modern society is people could probably do with thinking less, really. Yeah. I won't go into detail too much, but yeah, I really do. I do think that. And the same applies to starting a YouTube channel as well. If you have a calling and your gut is saying this is a good thing to do, just give it a go. The other thing I would say about an FPL channel is if you're going to start it, you need to just commit to making, I'd say, 50 videos. If you're going to start, you have to commit to making that many and then see where you land at the end of it. Because if you start and only make 10, that's not enough to even give yourself a hope, really. So yeah, I would commit to making 50 videos, or at least uploading a couple of times a week until the end of the season, and then see where you land at the end of it. That's probably what I'd do. There you go, top 10 travel. The YouTube is a grind. It's a real grind. Exactly, Kieran. It's funny how the game works, isn't it, like that? Someone's commented on a video. Who to bench, Voltamada or Dallo? Both of them are probably sells, to be honest with you. But I'd bench Dallo. I think Cherky is probably the one you take out first there. Yeah, Cherky. I'd look at buying Enzo for Cherky this week if I was you. But long term, I wouldn't want Foden either, really. So, Matty, I'm not saying I can't confess to be a Brighton expert, but we looked at the Brighton team predictions and the percentage for... Yeah, Baz, we'll go for it, mate. Just ask me questions in the chat. The player... Minte had a 38% chance of starting this week, according to Brighton fans. Last week I sold Cunha to Tavernier. It wasn't a bad move, mate. He just got injured. You got unlucky. I think this week you buy Njai or Enzo Fernandez for him. Or if you can afford it, Bruno Fernandes. Foden, Watkins, Rodgers, bench 1. Rodgers. Probably. It's Foden or Rodgers. You definitely start Watkins, I think. Bench 1, Anderson, Hall, Alderete. I actually say Hall in that scenario. Am I right? That's tough, that. It's Hall, probably. It's Hall or Joachim Anderson. Keep Foden one last game week. I think you keep him, mate. I'm going to keep him. For different reasons for you. I've already got Bruno Fernandes. That's why I'm keeping him. Lazy, we love that, mate. Fellow early riser by the looks of it. I'm very well, Sebastian. Hope you are too. If people haven't already, please do leave a like rating and subscribe. We've got 350 people watching at the moment. Love that. Thank you everyone for tuning in. FPL Jack just posted Haaland to start on the bench. I don't know. I don't think he is. I've never come across FPL Jack 40 before. You got to be really careful about leaks. Really careful. To be honest, if you're going to get a leak about the Man City team, let's have a look. Jack Harrington. Is that legit? This is the account. Is this legit? He's not spelled correspondent correctly. Ah. There we go. 12 username changes. Last on January 2026. Connected via South America App Store. Apparently based in London. There you go. That's a red flag. Not for me. Not for me. I'm gonna tweet about that actually. Oh, bear with. I'm just gonna do a tweet about that if that's okay. Sorry, I was just doing a tweet about that account. There we go. Oh, blimey, the chat's gone crazy. Hello from California, good to see you. Blimey, I'm trying to keep up with the chat, I can't. Do you think I should play Semenyo? I think you play both of them this week. What do you think of bench boost for Dubravka, Joachim Andersen, Alderete? I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Change your VPN to the States and it's half price. Interesting. Interesting. I do pay for Twitter. I see it as a business investment. And also when you earn money through YouTube, I do. I'm not going to pretend that I don't. In the UK, if you work a full-time job and run a YouTube channel, the YouTube channel counts as self-employed income. And because I see Twitter, paying for Twitter as a business expense because it's obviously part of my sort of social media FPL operation. You can say it's an expenditure on your business and you don't pay tax, and it reduces the money that you've made on your business. Basically, it shows as an expenditure. So, That's why I pay for it. It's a good investment. How long does editing usually take you? The editing process is quite small for me now because I've gotten myself into a position after 1,000 videos where I can talk on camera fairly easily without like breaking up segments. And I've also built up a real set of templates for graphics and stuff. Because my videos, when you think about them, are basically a slideshow. So I create the slides, talk about them, and I've got myself through 1,000 videos into a place where I've got lots of reusable slide templates. So to make a video takes me a lot less time than it used to. I don't do this full time now. I work a full time job and run another channel as well. Who to bench? O'Brien, Timber, Gabriel, Lefay, Garner, Chalobah. Bloody hell. I think you benched Lefay and Garner. Hopefully that helps. In a bit of a pickle, Verbruggen, Dubravka. I think you start Dubravka, you know. It's my gut feel. It's close, but I think you start Dubravka if you want my view. Kanate is a problem. Who'd you bring in for Kanate? Who'd you bring in? Well, Nunes has got to go as well. I'd consider bringing in Mukiele for Nunes. Foden, Saka, Anderson. And then, if you can... Yeah, if you did Nunes to Mukiele, you should be able to do Cunha to Bruno Fernandes. And then I think you're in a really good position. Worth take. I hate hits in FPL, mate. Especially for a single game week. If you think Njai will score a brace on Monday, buy Iliman Njai. Simple as that. It's as simple as that. Should I play Munoz? If you've got him, you probably should. Do you think I should? I think you play both of them, mate. Who else have you got? I think you got to play both of them. Dubravka or Roofs? I would start Roofs, I think. One of Rodgers, Van der Ven, Mukiele. It's Mukiele or Rodgers. Who's your favourite out of those two? Lewis Potter or Chow? Is Lewis Potter going to continue to play for Brentford with Dango back? Have they done a Brentford prediction? Let's have a look. Have they done a Brentford prediction? Let's have a look a second. I don't think there is a Brentford prediction, you know. Arsenal, Villa, Brighton. No, there's no Brentford prediction. Let's see if Meerkat's done one. Sorry guys, I'm just moving Twitter off my screen. The most dangerous thing in the world is to show your Twitter feed on a live stream because it, I don't know about you, but my Twitter can flash up some really crap stuff. Predicted lineups for all teams. Okay. Yeah, Lewis Potter is not in the predicted team. I think I'd probably be inclined to agree with that. So that hopefully helps your decision, mate. Lewis Potter won't play. Yeah, inclined to agree. Inclined to agree. Leeds clean sheet incoming. We'll see. Bloody hell, the chat's gone mental. Sorry, I'm going to miss a few messages. my full-time job is 37, 40 hours a week, and my YouTube channel is probably 3-4 hours a day. I wake up, I work from home. I'm lucky to work from home, but I wake up early, do all my YouTube graphics at like 6 a.m, have breakfast, record my YouTube video, and then start work. That's what I do. I have breakfast, have a shower, so I'm presentable, and then record. And Jai was frustrating Owen earlier in the season. He plays for Everton, yeah. It feels like a few weeks ago, Enzo was a poor choice. I don't think anything has changed, but the Chelsea fixtures are just outrageous. You look at these fixtures and they're just so good. I know I've got Mark Gu up, but he's obviously plays for the same team. And Enzo, he's one of the leading midfielders in the league for non-penalty expected goals. And also, I don't know how you guys feel about Palmer, but for me, he's got what seems to be like a chronic problem with his groin. That sounds really dodgy, but what it means is that he's got an injury that won't heal by itself. You get to a point with groin injuries where you tear it to a point that it can't heal. If you have a minor tear, there's a chance that it will heal itself just through rest and proper recovery. But if you do it badly enough, it doesn't heal and you need surgery to fix it. And I think that's the position that Palmer is in, where he needs surgery on his groin, but he's refusing to get it. And until he does, he's going to be playing through the pain barrier, risking making it worse every game, and being selectively picked. I think he's only going to play Premier League games at the moment. I just worry about Palmer. And with that in mind, I think that makes it more difficult to pick. Edgar Davids, just realised I have a higher ranking than you. So, mate, I really appreciate you becoming a channel member. But I've helped you with your team 3 times. I've told you what you should do. You've got those 3 players in your team. Cunha, Bruno, Foden. All 3 could be sold. Bruno Fernandes, Iliman Ndiaye, and Enzo are your options to get them. But if you want a wild card next week, I would just do it this week and save your transfers. I've given you. That's all I can help. That's all I can help with. And to be honest, if you think if my rank is lower than yours, and you think that puts you off asking me for advice, then don't ask me for advice, mate. Cancel your membership if you feel that way. I don't mind. I'm not in a position where I'm forcing people to become members or anything. Hopefully that helps. I appreciate your custom becoming a member, but that's probably as far as my help can go, really. I took Palmer in my wild card. Yeah, I think if you pick Palmer, you're constantly worried about him being fit. You just answered me, I need to wildcard. Yeah, I've told you that 3 times, mate. Double Arsenal defender against Man United. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Yeah, it doesn't matter about age, mate. It's just groins. They don't heal. Whether he's young or not, it doesn't matter. It's a part of your body that doesn't heal, and you need to get surgery to fix it. It's not like how do you describe what is the tissue makeup of the groin? It's not a traditional muscle in a sense. It's a really thin and I wouldn't say gristly, but it's just doesn't heal properly. I'm not a doctor, mate, but I've got some experience with groin injuries. It's just the nature of it. I'm a swimmer. A lot of people that I've swim with have had groin issues, and just knowing football, you know the nature of some injuries, don't you? Yeah, the goal is at some point to go full-time with this, mate. I reckon I'm probably about halfway there. I reckon if you have an FPL YouTube channel, you probably need 50,000, probably 3 times the amount of views that I get to be really comfortable doing it. Oh, mate, you have to be really comfortable doing it full time, because YouTube income is up and down throughout the year, depending on what advertisers pay. And also, there's an off season in football, isn't there? What do I do in the off season is a very good question. I don't know. I go stir crazy because I have nothing to do. Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. But this year, to be honest, mate, I want to buy a property. I want to buy myself a place to live, I think, which would involve, I think, just juggling everything so I can show the highest income possible and get a mortgage. That's the plan. So I think just juggle everything. I have to say, mate, my favourite footballer of all time, it's not in recent years, but it was when he was playing for Man United first time round. It was Ronaldo. He was my favourite footballer of all time. Yeah, absolutely, Nixie. That's part of it, in the sense that he doesn't want to miss the World Cup. If he gets surgery, he's out for 6 months. I think he's out for a long time. So that's probably why he's not getting the surgery. He's really worried about the World Cup. I was a little bit too young for Ronaldinho, and also I didn't really get into football until sort of 2006, 7, and in that, oh god, said 6, 7, but what was I going to say? And then I've always kind of, certainly growing up, I followed two teams, Bristol City, because it was the first game I ever went to, and it's my kind of local team. And then I just always followed Man United as well, because I just love the players, and I love Sir Alex and all of that. And I've started a Bristol City channel in the last couple of years, and you wouldn't believe the amount of stick I've gotten for my affiliation to Man United as well. I've had like people threaten to beat me up and stuff because I can't. I feel like you can't choose your football teams; they sort of just choose you. And so following Man United growing up was just something I was like naturally drawn to, and then Bristol City is my team. You know, I definitely feel my affiliation to Man United has waned away in the last sort of 4 or 5 years, though, since I've had a season ticket at City. So I would definitely say I'm a sole Bristol City fan now, but I can't, you know, it's just what it is. Can you check Discord? Of course I can, my friend. Janice. I think you need to sell Cherky here. Oh, 2.1 million though, you can't quite do it. If it were me, mate, I think I'd do Cherky to Enzo Fernandez here. Yeah, I think I'd do Cherky to Enzo Fernandez if it was me. That's my gut feeling, mate. Sorry, that was a little snippet into the Discord there. You didn't even sell Cherky. Georgie, I reckon, not Georgie from Bristol City, is it? But anyway, I would wait until a double game week. I think we'll get a double in 26, and we'll get a double in, I think, 34. So I think you bench boost in one, double in the other. Yeah, I've got a list, mate, in fact. Don't know if you've ever used Twitter lists, but my Twitter feed, I've got a leaked FPL team news feed. So, ex-West Ham employee is good for... Spinny and Cop's good for Liverpool. City Extra, FPL Main Road, and FPL Tony are the best Man City sources. And then, to be honest, all of the big FPL YouTubers, they get messages all the time, I'm sure, with leaks and stuff. So it's just worth keeping in touch with them. I'm afraid I'm not going to pretend to be in the know or a leaker or anything like that. I don't really have information. Oh mate, I love Wales. I grew up in Shepton Mallet. There you go. I'll be going down tomorrow, see my family and stuff. I hope you enjoyed the Watford game, mate. I hope you enjoyed the Watford game. That was a good one for his first match, wasn't it? It was the only one this season I've had to miss because I needed a week off of Bristol City last week, or whenever it was a couple weekends ago. But yeah, I hope you both had a good time. I think I'd bench Chow in that position, Hamid Khan. Haaland or Thiago, captain Haaland, mate. 0 transfers left. Tavernier and Bruno Guimaraes injured. Enzo Fernandez for a -4. I think if you're taking a hit, you bring in the lowest risk option, and I think that's Enzo. Yeah, I think Cherky is a priority sell, to be honest. I don't think he's as good as Foden. And I sold him already, and I kept Foden, so that's my logic. Robbie or Callum Will, neither, mate, surely. Do you think anyone, mate, if you're going into it with that level of self-doubt about yourself already, then not good. For some reason, you remember how I said that people overthink things and you should think less and do more? I think half the problem with overthinking is that people just get in their own way. Like when they think of an opportunity or something they should start doing, it's just the natural human instinct. The brain cooks up things that are against you, and it almost like protects you from danger and keeps you comfortable. You just have to ignore that. Just press on. I definitely think there's nothing wrong with being an Australian and talking about FPL, mate. Nothing wrong with that. And no one will really care, as long as you give good advice. I have O'Reilly as the 4th Man City player. Chalobah for me, long term. Cherky to Semenyo. Actually, don't hate it. I would get Enzo in. Yeah, fair enough. Jemima Unicorn. I think I would do Bruno G to Enzo in that circumstance. Will Jimenez be a bad pick? Is Mooney's back yet for Fulham? Sorry, just hit my mic. Is Mooney's back? Also, by the way, I got my rank wrong. I'm actually 187k overall. I think Raul Jimenez is okay until Mooney's is back. FPL Didgeridoo. That's not a bad name, you know. You should copyright that. I almost feel like our brains were... This is a mad discussion, but it also relates to FPL. Our brains are wired to keep us safe, right? And if you put yourself back to like caveman times, where there was no technology or anything, it's almost like leaving the cave, right? Where there's scary saber-toothed tigers and all that outside. Your brain is wired to keep you in there and protect you against that. And the ones that win are the ones that can push through it and put that fear aside, right? And your saber-toothed tiger is starting the FPL channel as far as I see it. I say that and I put things off and don't do them all the time. So do as I say, not as I do. I would definitely start Mane over Wharton. Play Timber or Dorgu. I would probably play Timber. I probably would. I'm very well, Jamie. Hope you are too. Chiro Banks, if you spam stuff in the chat, I'm not going to answer it. Yeah, I'd look at bringing in Njai for Bruno Guimaraes. Fernandez in, Cunha out. I really like that move. Wilson's fine. Yeah, Wilson is fine. If we get news Haaland's benched, I'd captain Gabriel. But I don't think Haaland is going to be benched. Gordon for Bruno. If you could sell Anthony Gordon for Bruno Fernandes, I think I would do it, yeah. I'd probably bench Harry Wilson, but it depends, Jake, on your views of how likely Foden is to start. Jake, if I were to ask you, in your brain, what percentage is Foden starting this week? And then I'll tell you. Because it shouldn't be my decision. You should use your logic. I'm just going to help you come to a conclusion. Deuteronomy, you're always going to have bench point. I would bench Wilson if you think Foden is more likely than not to start. Yeah, I'd do that, mate. Does that make sense? I think you'd kick yourself, wouldn't you, if you bench Foden and he started against Wolves. Forest fan. My pleasure, Georgie. Hopefully it helped you. Alex, keep Tavernier and reassess next week, or will he be out for long? He's done a hamstring, mate, so he's going to be out for a month, I reckon. He's done his hamstring. I think it's going to be a few weeks. It's just whether I'm making a transfer this week or next week is the best decision for you, I think. Hope you're doing good. I'm doing very well, Jack. Do you think Dango Atara? Yes. Yeah, I think he'll be back in the team, mate, and start. FPL Meerkat predicting Foden bench for Turkey. Yeah, I know. I'm content with keeping with Foden, mate. Matilde, I'm so sorry. You've messaged this a few times and I've completely missed it. Sorry, the chat's been moving so quickly. The question I have for you, Matilde, is if you roll this week, what will your transfer be next week? If your transfer next week will be Potts to Njai, then you do it this week. But if you don't think that'll be your move, then you probably should roll. Does that help? Looking at Saka and Anderson out next week to Timber and Bruno Fernandes. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. I think the best Arsenal triple up is something that I'm going to work towards is Gabriel, Timber, Rice. That's the best Arsenal triple up. But I think Saka starts this week, so I'm not going to sell him. Daniel, good to see you, mate. Start Mukiele or Chow. My gut says Mukiele. I'll be honest. Cunha to Bruno Fernandes. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Do that. Cunha to Bruno Fernandes makes big sense. Bench Enzo, Wilson or Rodgers. Ooh, Wilson or Rodgers. You've got to start Enzo this week. Nobody mentioned Wirtz. Yeah, but with Salah back, I just think it puts the... I just don't know if you can rely on him anymore. Good morning, Tom. Is it worth a punt on Semenyo as captain? Personally, I only really like captaining penalty takers. That isn't the best Arsenal 3. What is the best Arsenal 3 then? Talk to me, gee-whiz. Yeah, there you go, Alex. I reckon so. Jake certainly has, my friend. I've put in the work, that's for sure. I hope everyone's enjoyed the content as a result. I've absolutely loved making it, that's for sure. I wouldn't be able to get out of bed in the morning if I didn't have this at times. Would you start Bruno G even with the injury suggestion? Nah, I'd transfer him out, mate, to be honest. Jerky, yeah, I know, but it's a prediction. It's not my prediction. Yeah, true, but I've got the transfers to cover it, mate. My plan is to dead end into the blank in 31 and then wildcard in 32. The thing is with Raya, mate, he's 6 or 2. That's it. If Arsenal concede, he has no other way really of scoring points. I don't really know what's broken about that midfield, really. Long term, you probably want to move Saka on. But yeah, of course, you don't have Rice either. So yeah, I just get Rice in. You could do Saka to Rice, Szoboszlai to Bruno Fernandes. Yeah, you can easily fix that. Easily fix it. Dilemma for you, Tom. I think you start Gabriel, Timber and Bruno Fernandes, to be honest. Ooh. But yeah, you could start Mbeumo over Timber. I think in Mbeumo versus Timber, you get a coin out and you flip it. Or you tell me what you think the score's going to be in the game. What's alpha? What do you mean? Have I missed something? Don't overthink it, Chasney. It's not worth having a brain meltdown over. Hopefully that helps you, Matilde. I'm glad that helps. Because then if the transfer doesn't work out for whatever reason this week, because I can't guarantee that Njai is going to score points or necessarily even 100% start. I can't guarantee that. But at least it means you've got a player you want in your team next week and you've not just used a transfer and immediately want to use another one, right? Because even if Njai doesn't start, whatever happens, he should play next week. I've already answered that, Alien. I'm back in Arsenal clean sheet and Bruno Defcon. Yeah, that's why I think the double Arsenal plus Bruno is my gut feel, but it's very close. Wouldn't shock me if Man United scored 1. Yeah, I agree. The season's keepers for you. Sorry, I didn't quite understand what that question was, but I think I get it now. It's 3 players, really. I'll be honest, 4 players. We'll go 4. Gabriel, Rice, Haaland, and Bruno Fernandes. Those are the 4 that are probably everyone should have in their team. And that's about it. Really is that, because the rest of them are all sort of there or thereabouts. Oh, Mark, I'd love to, mate. The thing is, it's going to be so expensive for a tourist to visit the World Cup this year. Going to America is going to be so expensive this summer. I've never been to America and I'd love to go. But I just couldn't afford it, I don't think. Who's your Foden replacement? So I've got 3 names lined up that could come in for him. And it probably will happen next week. Enzo Fernandez, Iliman Njai, Brian Mbeumo. Those are the 3 players I'm looking at. But I'm almost inclined this week to take the risk of Foden not playing. I'm almost inclined to not get rid of Foden this week. I live in LA. What's going on in LA? I don't know. Is it Newsom? Is he your governor? Doesn't feel all that great in that regard in the UK at the moment, to be honest. I won't get into politics on this channel, but if you look at UK politics, it's just all a bit embarrassing, really, I think. Whichever way you look at it. Yeah, the country overall does have some really bad optics, you're right. I don't know if the UK does, but I feel like the UK does at the moment as well, really. Planning to sell Tavernier, Anderson, or Lefay. Sell the one that's injured, mate. Anderson and Lefay are playing. Tavernier's injured. It's easy. Thiago's not a season. Well, I don't have him at the moment, so it would be wrong for me to say that. He probably is as well when you think about the forwards. I just don't have him yet. If I bought him, I don't think I'd sell him though, unless he got injured. I'd play Mukiele, Marcus. Thoughts on -4 Rogers to Semenyo? Absolutely not. Yes, soccer. I like that. I would consider Mukiele over Richards though. I think I've had to wildcard and have Rogers in. He's had a lot of transfers out. Is there something I'm missing? No. No. I just think people are looking at his underlying numbers, seeing that he maybe hasn't scored. Didn't score last week, I don't think, and they're getting rid of him. If you back Rogers, pick him. I don't have him. I don't think I'd pick him, but if you back him, I'd go for him. What about Semenyo? Very good. Oh, sorry, I see. You're wondering whether to go Anderson or Lefay. Honest answer, I would consider James Garner above all of them. And if you can afford him, I would go for Iliman and Jai. Thank you, G-Wiz. I obviously read that wrong. J-Lo, good to see you, mate. I know top 10 travel was mental. I won't even go into it, mate, but it seems mental to me. Thoughts on Robinson? No, not for me. I just don't think the appeal of attacking defenders is quite there anymore. I think you'd rather have a centre-back that gets DEFCON as opposed to a attacking defender. That'd be my opinion. Would you start Alderete over Anderson? Is Hall really a bench with his good attacking data? I would start Alderete. Well, it depends. Do you think Villa score? If you think Newcastle keep a clean sheet, then keep him. But Hall probably bloody scores this week after I said that. But I think the way the game's gone with DEFCON, these attacking defenders are just not quite as good anymore. Does that make sense? Does anyone else agree with that? Wilson, Gravenberch, Thiago. It's definitely not Thiago. I reckon I would bench Gravenberch if I was in that position. Yeah, but are Palace going to be sorted? What do you think? Should I start Cherky or Cunha? Probably Cherky, mate. Rogers or Anderson? I'd pick Rogers. So Tarkovsky over a healthy Munoz. But Munoz also gets DEFCON. That's the only other thing to bear in mind. But I wouldn't have either of them really, to be honest with you. I think I'd rather have a Sunderland defender than Tarkovsky. Fair point on Garner. I don't think Anderson has been taking that many set pieces though. But Garner's DEFCON numbers have been way high. He got 29 in the last game. Start Alderete or Van de Ven? Gut feel is Alderete. Yeah, gets more DEFCON. Half an hour of the stream to go. I'm starting to fade a little bit, I won't lie. I'd captain Haaland, mate. I think there's a case to captain Gabriel if we get a leak, a good solid leak that Haaland doesn't start. But other than that, you stick by Haaland, I think. I still personally, I don't know Gwiz, but I would probably start Dubravka over Brighton. I just think Tottenham are more likely to crap the bed and Burnley win 1-0. Because I just think Fulham are alright, especially at home. They'll have Iwobi back as well, of course. And other AFCON players as well. You'd imagine Bassey's back, for example. Yeah, I agree. Starting Dubravka over Raya. Wow. Bro, so gee whiz, you're starting Dubravka over Raya this week, and you've said that Raya is in the best Arsenal triple up. No, I'll stop my stream at 9, mate, when the big guns start. That's what I do. I like to catch people before they join the big dogs. That's my plan. Yeah, enjoy in full of fee, I think. Makes good sense. I'm still in my position, chat. Would you do Foden to Enzo? Because I have bench cover if Foden doesn't play in Anderson and Rodon. I've already got Bruno Fernandes. Do I do Foden to Enzo? Does that move make sense this week? I just think if I sell him and he starts, I'm going to kick myself. Everyone's saying yeah. I'm not sure. You'll see them on Twitter, mate. You'll see them on Twitter before the deadline. Your algo will help you if you're a Twitter user. Don't worry. They'll also be on like Let's Talk FPL or FPL Harry stream and stuff like that. Sorry, I'm just checking my DMs and stuff a second. See if I've got any leaks. I don't think I do. Yo, King Ferran. Yo, is that Ferran Torres? Triple Captain Haaland. Personally, I think I'd wait for a double game week to do it. I think I'd wait for a double. Oh, well, you got to get Twitter, mate. I'd say if you want to know how to get leaks, you got to get Twitter. That's the answer. It's, yeah, some people might not like it, but it's the source, mate. But you could also watch the deadline streams like Gwiz is saying. What's your thought on Semenyo? I think he's very decent. For the next couple of weeks, he's definitely going to start for City because he's not in the City Champions League squad. There's Champions League next week, but Semenyo's not been registered, so he should start the next 2 Premier League games against Wolves and Tottenham pretty safely. So yeah, I wouldn't stress. Do you like Foden to Njai swap? Yeah, it's something I'm considering. It's Foden to Enzo or Njai. That's the move I'm considering. I just don't know, though. I just don't know. I just don't know. Foden not predicted to start in all the predicted lineups you're seeing today. Let's have a look. So, we're blinkers on now, and I'm just going to look at Foden, okay? So, whoever this is has predicted Foden to start. This person's keeping Foden. Man City Fever doesn't have Foden in their lineup. Or Haaland. I'm not sure about that. Sky Blues doesn't have Foden in the lineup. Comp Footy doesn't have it. Bruno starting. Brilliant. Cheers, lads. Foden's not in that team. That is Champions League. Yeah, that's the thing on Foden. Is he actually going to do that good? Mate. So now I'm in a position, right? It's Enzo Fernandez versus Iliman Njai. I think we do Enzo this week and Njai next week, don't we? I think we do Foden this week, Njai next week. We could do Saka to Njai ahead of playing Lito. Ugh. We could do Saka to Njai and get Timber in. Possibly for Chow. I don't want Cole Palmer, mate. Bro. This is it. Big decision. I think I need to wait for a leak, don't I? There's no point me doing the move now. I think I should just wait and see. Palace away is not tough with the current state of Crystal Palace, mate. I think Crystal Palace are a team to target, to be honest with you. Enzo's the one, I think. And then we just get Njai next week. I think returning so soon from AFCON, I think you could wait another week to get Njai. Or I could even do Elliot Anderson to Njai next week as well with the money I've got. Wilson, Rogers, Enzo, bench one. Probably Rogers. Yeah. Is Timber the best third? I think so. Palmer to Man United, I don't think it's going to happen, mate. Bloody hell, we got loads of viewers in the stream. By the way, if you're enjoying it, please do leave me a like rating. And as you can see, I'm currently hovering over doing Foden to Enzo Fernandez. I'm hovering over it. We'll go one step further. Thing is with Riot though, he gets 2 points or 6 points. There's no other way he scores points other than keeping a clean sheet, really. And I've already got Bruno, of course. Enzo is so unreliable. I'm not sure you can say that. 3 attacking returns, 2 goals, 1 assist in the last 4 weeks. And he did quite barely nothing up before that. Oh. Thoughts on Bowen? If you don't have Thiago or Ekitike, you can move him on. But other than that, yeah, that's my thoughts really. Or you could go 5 in midfield, I suppose. Just get rid of him. Haaland 100% going to start. Enzo. Foden to Enzo. But Enzo is guaranteed 5-point minimum, is he? I'm not sure about that. Where's his 5 points coming from? Then the fixtures are great, don't get me wrong. The fixtures are good. I'm going to kick myself if I don't own Enzo, aren't I? He doesn't get DEFCON, mate. He's not a DEFCON player. He doesn't get DEFCON very often. He got it against Man City and that's it. Man City and Brentford. He's only hit it twice. Yeah, Iliman and Jai is an option, but I want to wait until next week to do that. You know what I'm going to do? We're going to see what. We're going to have a look at what Fantasy Football Hub and FPL Review tell me I should do. Iliman and Jai, mate. Iliman and Jai. It's not going to tell me to get rid of Foden. It's going to say nothing. Yeah, because it thinks Foden's going to start. That's fair enough. That's what that algorithm says. Let's go on FPL Review. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. Sorry about that. That was 400 people in the stream. Appreciate you all joining. Leave a like rating if you haven't already and subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to hit 25,000 subscribers by the end of the year. If you can help me get there, I would really appreciate that. Crystal Palace struggling. Enzo 100%. Yeah, I think so. Let's see what FPL Review is saying though. How come Bowen's been getting DEFCON? How come Bowen's been getting DEFCON points? Your guess is as good as mine. G-Wiz can tell you. He's a West Ham fan. He can tell you what he thinks of Bowen and all that. Yeah, there you go. He's getting DEFCON because he's dire. So, transfer solver. I want. Okay. Oh, it's frozen for me. Bear with, guys. I've broken FPL Review. No, it's fine. That is the honest truth. Start one, Mukiele, Anderson, Hall. Mukiele. I'll definitely start Mukiele, I think, if that were me. Transfer solver. That mean it's loading then? Should we come back to it? We'll let it load. We'll let it load. Sorry, hit my mic. This Foden to Enzo business is doing my nut in. What are you talking about? I'm not. Yeah, the good thing about Bowen, I guess, is with Paquetá. Is Paquetá still in the team? I think I'd sell Bruno Guimaraes over Foden. Paquetá's unavailable. So yeah, that does mean Bowen's probably on penalties, doesn't it? Wow. FPL Review is still liking Foden. Look. It's just telling me to buy a Sunderland defender. Wow, I'm shook by that. Foden to Palmer, Ekitike to Thiago. Foden to Enzo. Foden to Enzo. Palmer is a no-go, I agree. Not going near Palmer. Solio. Don't know. Solio, not a big fan of Foden this week, but he's still ahead of Njai and Enzo. I'm just thinking aloud here, right? Sorry, I keep knocking my desk and microphone and stuff. Just thinking aloud here. If I keep Foden and he starts against Wolves, he's quite a differential, I feel, with everyone that sold him. And if he does play, is he better than Enzo? And then next week, because there's Champions League and all sorts, isn't there? It's definitely Enzo or Njai that come in for him. It's just whether I need to sell him. It's just whether I need to sell him. Foden out, less headache. Yeah, you're right. But then, but look at Chelsea. So we're worried about Foden's fixtures, right? Or worried about Foden. Chelsea's fixtures are as follows, right? Crystal Palace at the weekend, tomorrow. Napoli in the Champions League, they need to win that. West Ham at home, could get rested. Arsenal away in the EFL Cup, and then Wolves. If you think which fixtures could he be benched in, if there is a possibility, which I think there is, which ones do you bench him in looking at that run? You bench him against West Ham or Wolves? Probably West Ham at home, right? Bloody hell. Our reasons for Gabriel captaincy is if you don't believe that Haaland's going to start. I think he will, so I'm going to stick with Haaland, but that's it. That's the reason for it, if you don't think Haaland's going to play. Sorry, I know people are asking me questions in the chat, but I also need to decide what to do with my own team. Do you even need to bench him? What do you mean by that, Nixie? I'm live until 9, so I'll keep eyes on leaks and stuff, but I'm live for another 10 minutes. No news yet, Ben. I'm currently having a meltdown as to whether I do Enzo in for Foden. Well, first of all, I will do a couple of polls then. First of all, we'll finish the captaincy poll. Start another poll. We'll start another poll. The first poll is, looking at my team, let's see what you guys think. Looking at my team, would you sell Foden? With this team, I already have Bruno Fernandes. Good to see you, Liam, mate. So I've already got Bruno Fernandes. I've already got him. And I've got a bench of Anderson and Rodon. I'm not sure I am planning to sell Foden next week, though. Yeah, you could keep him next week as well. He's got Tottenham. Yeah, I don't care about price changes. I didn't care anyway because I'm selling him for someone that's so much cheaper that it's just not worth it. I'd rather have the information. I have not lost any sleep over I've not lost any sleep over the price changes at all. It's all on the leaks. I think you're right, Ben. I think you're right. I do agree. Foden to Mbumo next week. Yeah? That's something I'm also considering. I think there are 3 players, 3 midfielders that I want that I don't have currently. Enzo, Njai, and Mbumo. But I think we need to give Mbumo the Arsenal game just to get a feeling of that he is the first choice number 9 for United. Because they've got Sesko as well, who's not done too badly. I'd imagine they're almost matching each other actually in terms of goals this season. I don't think they're too far away from each other. Mbumo hasn't scored that many. Yeah, you're probably right, Dreamer's Canvas. I just don't care about price changes. Well, we don't know, Darks, that's the thing. We don't know, and I give it till 10 to 11 and then decide, I think. And you can see there, it's 87 votes. Most are saying I don't sell him, so I think I'm inclined to keep until we get a leak. Oh, I completely agree with you, Ben. Bruno G to Njai. Yeah, I don't hate it. I don't hate it, Liam. I think I'd just prefer Enzo, but Bruno G to Njai is not bad at all. What's your prediction for relegation? Top 4 UCL winners. I think Arsenal could win the Champions League. I really do. I think not only are they the best team in the Premier League, I think with the defence that they have, they're a good tournament team as well. I genuinely think, and this probably sounds mental, but I think Arsenal are in a good place to genuinely potentially win all 4 trophies. Like, I would actually, sounds mad, I would probably have Arsenal as my current favourite for all 4 trophies. Do I think they win all 4? Probably not. But you have to say they're probably favourite for each individual competition in isolation. Imagine your team has Enzo but no Bruno F. Would you swap Foden for Bruno F? Yes, I would. I would do that. But that's because I think Bruno Fernandes is so much better than Foden. I think Bruno Fernandes is the best midfielder in the league, in the game at least. Relegation, it will be West Ham, Wolves, Burnley. Top 4, Arsenal, City. I don't know. I think Villa will be in it come the end of the season. And then I think 4th place is between these 3 teams, isn't it, really? Liverpool, United, Chelsea. I think the top 3 probably stay as it is. Maybe Villa drop to 4th. And then the rest, I don't know. I think Man United could do it, you know. I just think it's the lack of competitions that they're in. Turkey to enjoy. Yeah, I like that. I don't like Turkey at all. YouTube channel mess. Yeah, I think Haaland starts. Barca is a close second. I agree. Yeah. I also think Bayern look really good as well. I think that Diaz, Kane, Elise front 3 is really, really good. I think Bayern looks strong as well. Although Arsenal have beaten them, haven't they? The thing is with Bayern, they don't look that solid defensively. Who finishes higher, Bristol City or Norwich? I can't answer that until the window's done, to be honest, mate. Need the transfer window to be done. We've sold 8 players and bought 2 this week. Or this window so far of Bristol City. We desperately need to get some players in. I think Bayern will win it. Interesting. I don't think Bayern's defence is good enough to win the Champions League. Harry's Army, I hope your boiler's sorted. No worries, we've got 5 minutes left on the stream and then I think we'll be done. I'm really, I'm just unsure as to what to do with Foden, but I think I need to wait for leaks, really. Yeah, it's a fair point, Frederick Fitness. I just don't think, I don't know. I'm just not convinced that, I think at the time it was a fair prediction with the information that we've got, but with what's happened with Man City recently and the turn of form and stuff, it's obviously that's turned to be the right thing. But I also think the thought of Semenyo leaving Bournemouth and joining the cluster that is the Man City team in terms of minutes, it was fair to have doubts about him, but I take your point as well. Best strikers on wildcard, it's Haaland and Thiago, mate. I don't like Wesley Fofana. I don't think his minutes are good enough. I think Chalobah is the Chelsea defender I would go for. Would you sell O'Reilly today? I think what you're missing is a Sunderland defender from that lot. Or Timber. So if you can buy either one of those, maybe. But at the same time, you could just keep O'Reilly. Are we at 9 o'clock? Yeah, nearly. I think it's time for me to wrap up soon. I've been live for 2.5 hours. If you could please, on your way out, hit the like button. We are on 196. It'd be great if we could do 200 before I end. Jack, yes, but I think Haaland's going to play. So leave a like rating on your way out. I appreciate everyone joining the stream. I hope you found it useful. Yeah, I'm going to go have a shower, go to the gym, I think. And yeah, we'll leave it there. I think I need to wait for leaks, really, to know what to do with Foden. I hope in some way I've been able to help you with your team. And yeah, please leave a like rating and subscribe on your way out. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, everyone.